One of the attorneys representing President Trump in his election legal battles, the co-author of the book, Conviction Machine. Sidney, apart from whistleblower testimony like our last guest, you say we need a complete audit of election computer systems. We'll get to that in a moment. React first to what you just heard from that whistleblower.
Well, it makes perfect sense. It aligns with other stories we've heard from other voting locations where people have done everything from take piles of ballots and fill them out all the same way to bringing in pallets or boxes of ballots and dumping them in. It's really been stunning, Laura, to read all the affidavits that we're getting in, and information's coming in almost faster than we can process it. But we're seeing all manner and means of fraud. I'm particularly concerned about the computer implications and the fact that we have no ability to trust our computer systems that register the votes.
Yeah, can you explain that for us? So people have read bits and pieces of one voting system and votes being switched, but then we were told they were switched back and no worries. But specifically on this issue, why are we so vulnerable?
Yes, well, a lot of the machines, particularly by the Dominion company, in which Dianne Feinstein and Nancy Pelosi hold interests, along with Mr. Soros has a connection to that as well. They actually have a Chinese software or parts in them. And of course, given Mr. Biden's links to China, it's not too far of a stretch to think that China might have had something to do with some of the, quote, glitches, end quote, that have repeatedly resulted in vote changes in the election results.
I think Sidney is a really top lawyer, so I don't have to tell you this, but the AP, which isn't the AP of 25 years ago, but the AP fact-checked those family connection claims and said basically that's just more Republican smoke and mirrors. It doesn't add up.
Well, we'll continue to investigate, and if it's wrong, I will correct that. But I don't have any reason to think that right now. What I do know is that votes were flipped.
Sorry,
you can see it in the algorithms.
Yeah, we have a bit of a delay. Sorry, Sidney. I don't know what's going on here with the delay, but I think most people think about these the computerized systems and think, oh, it's so much more accurate than hand counting because we're seeing all these ballots counted by hand and there are problems with those. So there has to be a bipartisan examination of everything that went wrong in this election, from the tampering allegations to the dead people voting to the machines, and that just has to be done because right now we have tens of millions of Americans who think this wasn't a free and fair election, and it's not good for Biden, it's not good for Harris, not good for the country, not good for President Trump, obviously.
No, these are the two most important months of our republic. This is when the rubber meets the road as to whether we remain a free country in which we can trust our methods of self-governance. And right now we can't, and 70-some million people know that. We have demonstrable statistical and mathematical and computer evidence of hundreds of thousands of votes being injected into the computer systems repeatedly that simply don't pass muster. And the experts who understand how these programs and everything work know that. It's provable, and we will be proving it along with other methods of fraud that they used.
Well, Sidney, you certainly know a little bit about what the other side is capable of in your representation of Michael Flynn. When they want something, they skirted all sorts of rules and ethical standards in order to do it. And so, I mean, look, you've been fighting this fight for a long time.
5.0, Laura. Yeah, this is coup 5.0. And
Sidney,
the Department of Justice and the FBI really need to get after it right now and investigate all the reports of fraud. There are hundreds of them.
Yeah, well, I hope Attorney General Barr is doing that. Very, very hopeful that he's doing that. Otherwise, we're in big trouble as a country, especially with elections going forward. Sidney, thank you so much. We really appreciate your being on tonight. And the